Hello, I'm Kelsey and welcome to Get Booked. So today I'm going to be doing my November wrap-up, actually on time this time. I read 4 books this month, which is pretty good for me. It's 1 book a week, which I consider to be pretty good for myself. So yeah, let's get into it. The first book I read was Percy, Jackson and Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan, whatever his name is. I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. I wanted to read this for a while and I knew I was going to like it, but I didn't expect to like it as much or love it as much as I did, mainly because it's a middle grade book. I thought it was maybe going to take away from the story and be a bit juvenile, but even though it was obvious that it was, aimed at a younger audience, it still didn't take away from the story at all. It was just really good, and I loved Percy. Really wish I had known about this book when I think these came out in 2005, so I would have been 11. I really wish I knew about them when I was that age and read them then, because I probably would have loved them even more, with that childlike sort of love that children have, that sort of thing. So yeah, but it was still really good, and I really want to read the second book. As soon as I finish this, I was like, okay, I'm ready for the second one. I need to go out and buy it, which I haven't bought yet, but it's soon going to be happening. And then I'm really excited for when I finish this, then I'll go on to the Heroes of Olympus, and then I can then go on to the Kane Chronicles. I love mythology of all kinds, but my favourite is Egyptian mythology, so I'm looking forward to that. The second book I read this month was The Unbecoming of Myra Dyer by Michelle Hodkin. I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. This is another book that I didn't expect to love as much as I thought I did. I did actually, to be honest, didn't think I was going to like it. I borrowed it in October because a lot of people recommended this as a Halloween read, and I was kind of in the mood for something a little bit spooky. Personally, I didn't find this book spooky at all, but that doesn't matter because I loved it. Now, I consider myself quite a slow reader, and I read this book in like 3 days. I'm not going to say too much about this just because I've actually already filmed a review for it, so hopefully I'll probably have that up within a week or so, maybe. My first video review, so a little bit nervous about it just because it's like, oh, am I going to be good at doing it? I don't know, but hopefully I will get better with practice. The third book I read was Mockingjay by Suzanne Collins. Now this wasn't a reread for me or anything. A lot of people have said that they didn't like the third one. I probably didn't like it as much as the first two. I'd probably say the second one was my favourite. The wrap up at the end I thought was really good. It wasn't like the best wrap up, but it was like as best as it could have been, I thought. Like it, unless it was unrealistic. Yeah, it could have been better, but it then would have been unrealistic. So I'm really happy with the conclusion of this one. Actually, there is one thing, spoiler alert if you haven't read it or whatever, but one thing I do really want to know is what happened to Gale. I know I think went off to District 8, but I want to know, like, I want to see like his side of the story, and like what's he doing and what's he thinking. Is he really upset that he doesn't have Katniss? And like, I really want to know that. I really want to know that. That's something that irks me, is he kind of, he was such a big part of her life and now he's just gone. And I just find that a little bit strange. But that's the only thing I really had a problem with. I think I gave this book, I can't actually remember if I gave this book at 4 or 5, probably whatever it is. I will, if it's not already this, I will change it to 4.5 stars. And the last book I read, The Assassin's Curse by Cassandra Rose Clarke. This book I literally just finished like half an hour ago. I really liked it. I'd probably give it 4, maybe 4.5 stars on Goodreads. It didn't blow me away. It wasn't super fantastic, but it was definitely a lot of fun to read and very enjoyable, and I'm definitely going to be reading the second one because this is part of a duology. So this book is about a pirate who is arranged to marry another pirate, and of course she doesn't want to, so she runs away. This sounds a lot like the beginning of The Kiss of Deception, but it's very different. The pirate she was supposed to marry their clan sends an assassin after her, and she accidentally sets off a curse that binds her to him, and if she dies, he'll die, so he now has to protect her. They go through a bit of an adventure together. Something I really liked about this book is because she's a pirate, everything was in pirate speak, like not just the way she talked, but just the whole book. And it wasn't so much that it was hard to read, but it was really engaged you in the story because she's a pirate, so it makes sense that everything's written in pirate language sort of thing. And so I really enjoyed that. The love aspect of it was, she started kind of having feelings for him a little bit too soon, I thought. But there was no, I don't want to say too much because it's, yeah, nothing happened too early with the actual relationship. It was just what was in her mind, so I was okay. One thing I was quite surprised about, actually, because this is a high fantasy book, it didn't have a map. They travelled quite a bit in the world, and they talked about a lot of places as well. Like, they'd talk about this place and I'd be like, oh, I'll go look at the map, and then I'd be like, there's no map. I feel like I really just want to make my own map up for this, just so it can satisfy my need for it. These are the books that I read. This is really easy to hold up, this pile, so that's good. And I just realised I unintentionally read blue books this month. The Unbecoming of Myra Dyer isn't blue, but it fits in with the colour scheme, so go me for matching. Should do that every month. Pick a colour scheme and just read books only of that colour. The fan just went off. I'm so popular. So this is my books I read this month, and I'm putting it up on time, so Kelsey for the win. So consider that a pretty good reading month. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment and subscribe if you want to. Have a awesomely bookish day. Bye! I'm so fancy. Yeah, no, don't ever do that again, Kelsey.